G'day, kia ora, hello, and welcome to some more roller derby action here on track 2 at East Coast Clash. My name is Pavey Wavy.
Hello, and I am Kilbo Baggins. Pleased to be here, fresh off the track myself, ready to watch some more Div 2 roller derby at East Coast Clash today.
Kilbo has just come from their own game over in track 1, so they're still reliving the moments, and I'm excited to see how they go in this game today. We first would like to pay our respects to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We acknowledge that the event today here, East Coast Clash, is taking place on the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung land. We know that the Aboriginal folks always was and always will be the custodians of this land, and we embrace their presence around the roller derby community. So without further ado, we would like to introduce you to our first roster here. That is Ward, all the way from Perth. Super excited to see them here from Western Australia, here in Victoria. We have 007 Dames Bond, 123 Generica, 189 Squeals on Wheels, 22 Casserole, 28 Unleashed, 30 Tequila Slammer, 369 Striker, 744 Salty, 84 Shocktopus, 99 Fury Rosa, 12 Jiminy Hit It, 1535 Tiny, 191 Hades, 234 Thirsty Camel, 2814 Brawler, 333 Juicy Msuffer, 570 Beers, 77 Betty Yokosuka, 95 Vodka Chaser, and we're about to call the whistle shortly. So we'll see whether the officials are going to call the whistle. It looks like even though the time has expired, they're just having a chat in the middle. So let's see, Kilbo, if we want to chat about our other roster here today, East Vic.
East Vic, good friends of ours. We love East Vic, and on their roster today we have 09 Nat-O Ninetails, 12 Crush, 22 Screw, 3 Billy Goat Ruff, 37 Winona Fighter, 5 The Rumour, 66 April O'Wheel, 73 Jane Saw, 10 Never Ending Rory, 2 Evie, 23 Nicholas Rage, 33 Tenacious V, 4 Strawberry Short Skate, 531 Smiling Assassin, and 71 Pushy Tat. And then we have number 5, that's the Rumour, lined up to jam for the Witches when we get going in a second. I can't quite see who's up there for Ward at the moment.
Yeah, where we're positioned is actually facing the jammers rather than looking at their tushies.
Yeah, we get to see their pretty smiles though, at least.
So we just have to guess who they are. I'm relying here on Kilbo's knowledge of East Vic to get me through the line. But I'm sure between us we'll eventually find our way.
Absolutely. I do know that from East Vic, it is Winona Fighter's debut bouting game today, so that's very excited for the Witches.
We love a good debut bouting game. I'll be excited to see how they go today. And I'm also really excited to see some great roller derby here in the Australian community. It is quite a hot day here in Victoria. We're hitting the 30-degree days, which for Ward is probably just another day.
Yeah, they'd be used to it at this point, I reckon. I do know all our first aiders have said that it is going to be an extra 5 minutes and our intermission today due to heat warnings, and we'd like to give a big thank you to our first aiders from Deadly Sports Plus, Aboriginal Red and LGBTIQA Plus, SBED-led charity providing high-quality training and first aid services. We appreciate them so much for looking after us all weekend long. And looks like we're still just waiting to get going. The teams are ready, but officials
they were waiting for another official.
Oh,
that's what it was?
Well, I can't blame them too much because Corey just finished playing our game as well.
Everyone is doing multiple jobs over the weekend, and I think that's a little bit about our community, really, is we're always willing to lend a hand, and sometimes you've just got to be that little bit patient while everyone does the mini jobs that they have that weekend.
Absolutely, and we did run a little bit overtime doing MVPs. We just gush about each other so much over there. We can't help ourselves.
I saw earlier Justin Credible was holding some sort of pasta bake as their MVP, and I was like, that is the most amazing MVP prize you can have. Not only are you awarded MVP blocker, but you also get lunch.
That is actually a 2-for-1 deal that I'd be very interested in. I do know that I'm very, very lucky enough to have my MVP from my last game, and I got
that's cute.
3D printed from Eve from Ballarat. Very, very nicely done.
What Kilbo is holding in her hands right now is a little gold roller skate with
So
silver
cute.
lettering that says MVP Jammer on it. And the little wheels, do they roll? Oh look, it rolls a little bit as well. It's a little bit frictionful, but no, we do get rolling. Oh, the 5 seconds has been called. We're about to have our first jam here against East Vic and Ward.
And looks like we have number 5 for East Vic. That's the Rumour up against 1-2. Jiminy hit it from Ward, who has grabbed a quick lead on the inside there.
There was a big hit there on the outside by 333 Juicy for Ward, recycling the jam for about 30-40 feet there.
Oh, that's a big apex jump attack from Jiminy. Hit it, not quite all the way. Recycled back into the pack again.
And our first penalty of the jam has been issued to Nat. That's a 0-9 there for East Vic. That means they will have 3 blockers for 30 seconds within this jam. We should be calling Jiminy jump the apex, because that is the second apex jump we have seen already in this jam for the game.
Absolutely, and that one landed beautifully. A little bit of a tumble at the end, but in and safe, and 4 more points.
There's nothing like falling on your bum to start the game.
Yeah, it's not where you put the padding, but, you know, so sometimes it just happens.
Oh, I mean, you could wear those pants, those padded pants, if you're
handy.
really having it. We do have East Vic Jam. It has been released now from the front. We'll see what strategy Ward decide to use here, whether they're going to call the jam or continue running it. It does look like they're going to continue running it. They're quite confident with this lineup.
Do have their pivot in the bin, Ward, so they might be waiting. Oh, and a big hit on the outside line there against the Rumour.
It does look like many folks are struggling a little bit with this floor. It is a bit squeaky, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit sticky to create those sudden fall movements from folks. Ward there locking down the East Vic Jammer. They've managed to move themselves onto 3 different blockers one-on-one. There's nothing more brutalized than feeling hit out. There is a clockwise block there being issued to that last line of defense for Ward. That means they will start the next jam with 3 blockers, sorry. I need more caffeine.
But that is a massive first jam from Jiminy. Hit it 24 points to get their game started. Awesome way to start your game.
What a way to start. 24 points. You can just relax for a little bit now. Just take a load off.
Yeah, I hope your bench is making you sit a couple after that. You've earned it, I reckon.
Yeah, have a nice cold drink. It looks like East Vic are setting up for a strong 3-wall there at the back. It hasn't held off the jammer for Ward, though. Generica has managed to score lead jammer, while another recycle being made to the East Vic jammer. That outside line does seem to be the punisher here from Ward.
Absolutely. They're covering their lines beautifully as Smiling Assassin pushes and pushes their way to the front, still working against 1 blocker from Ward. They keep recycling out the front and reforming. This is wonderful to watch.
1 scoring pass has been made already for Ward. They look like they are confident in leading this game. And a call has been made from the bench, nice and loud. That is 2 extra points there being issued to Ward, slowly inching their lead a little bit further. 30 points for Ward, 4 for East Vic.
Alrighty, and that's number 2 for East Vic coming up. That's Evie. Can't quite see Ward. And an official timeout.
We do have the official timeout. If you're on the chat, feel free to say hello, say hi. I've got the chat active in the live stream now if you want to chat about what's going on in the game. If you want to ask Kilbo and I any questions, any tips or advice, feel free. We can chat about roller derby, we can chat about snacks.
I know I do love snacks. I do have some for my post-game.
Everyone should have some post-game snacks. It is very important.
Absolutely.
The official review, it does look like there's a discussion being had there on the inside of the track. It could be in relation to issuing a penalty at the end of the last jam, although it doesn't look like anyone had too intense of a penalty. There is some discussion in the bench having made with East Vic. I'll be curious to see what strategy they decide to go against this time, knowing that they have advantage in the next jam. They have 4 blockers available, whereas Ward will have 3, one sitting in the penalty box already.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how Witches set up. As someone who's played them several times, they do have very strong dedicated offense. I've been wondering to see if they'll utilise that with the extra blocker to spare in terms of the number advantage for this next jam.
We do want to take this time to thank Maven Mauve, who are our streaming partner here for today. They have provided us some excellent coverage, and we're super proud to be able to play around with this stream deck. I've never been able to play around with one, but today it was my day.
I know it's very fancy up here. I'm really enjoying it.
Halima Joy is super excited to be able to see Ward starting so strongly. Me too. It's always reassuring to be able to see when you fly so far that you manage to get a lot of action and a lot of reward out of it, as well as those close games. I love a good close game, and I love being able to fly somewhere and do well.
And it's a big, big trip for them. We do appreciate Ward coming all the way from Western Australia. And here we go with that dedicated offense from the Witches, helping Evie out the front. Oh, and looks like Ward has snuck through the inside line there to grab lead.
There is still a lot of jostling here happening on the back of the pack. The East Vic Jammer has been released. They are coming up about 50 feet behind the Ward Jammer. Big hustle and a call off there. Did they manage to get the 1 or 2 points at the end? No, they did not. That is a neutralize, a 0-0 jam. Oh no, actually it does look like there is 2. My eyes deceive me. Was that 2, Kilbo?
I see 2 from Corey's fingers there.
Yes.
Well done from Unleash. That was that previous Ward Jammer there to get those 2 quick points and call it. 5 seconds, ready to go for the next jam. This is Shawbury Short Skate.
Big catch there by East Vic at the start, but then the Ward Jammer has just gone straight to the other side. Does an optional spin while going through the middle. Excellent work there to take that lead jammer position. Such intensity and ferocity there at that start.
Absolutely. They came in with heat and singular focus, and coming through again, trying to get some points and recycled on the inside there.
And the East Vic Jammer there does get a track cut, so they are going to the penalty box. This means this is Ward's first power jam of the game.
Little tumble. See how they make advantage of this power jam. Very nicely through. 4 more points.
And there's nothing like having 2 intense passes and then to realize you still have to skate for another minute.
Yeah.
That feeling of, oh, I should have spent more time at the treadmill. This is what this is for.
Cardio. You never can get enough.
And we've done another 100-meter lap around on the treadmill here with Ward. That's an additional 4 points being issued. East Vic sitting up at the top there for the 3-wall catch. It'll be eager to see this offense being played out by Ward. A big rush by all blockers there to get their jammer through. They do manage to unfortunately hold them back, so that's another pass just being made there for Ward.
And Shawbury Short Skate is back on the track after her penalty, still fighting through, I believe, what is still their initial, as Take Killer Slammer from Ward comes through for another scoring pass. Straight into that seam. Lovely.
Direction penalty being issued there to a Ward blocker. Some excellent footwork at the top. It does get Shortcake unfortunately hit out and will have to recycle. Another direction being issued to somebody. That is an East Vic blocker. It seems like directions are going like Oprah today.
Yeah, it's all happening. I do have to do a special shout out for all our officials today. They're doing a wonderful, wonderful job across our game, all the games this morning and all weekend long, particularly those doing double duty and having to switch all their rosters due to all the changes from Cyclone Alfred. We really appreciate everyone doing all hands on and helping us out this weekend so everything can go ahead.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers are with those folks that are having to endure Alfred over the weekend. There's nothing like having all of your weekend plans disrupted by Mother Nature. She is someone that you cannot tame and will just have to accept your fate.
Indeed, indeed. But as for the most part, it seems that everyone in Brisbane and Gold Coast seems to be doing okay. But we keep our thoughts and prayers with them as make sure everyone's okay and safe from flooding and dangerous weather.
I have seen some great TikToks, though.
Awesome.
I must say. Sorry, there is a official timeout being called just to fix the track there on the inside line. I think my favourite TikTok so far has unfortunately seen a lot of the like baby stingrays or jellyfish just being swum out into the shopping malls.
Oh no!
Which is sad, but also funny at the same time. And they just have little notes on them, just like going shopping.
Oh no!
Going to get my food.
I did enjoy the mudslide that a few young lads had made on the Gold Coast. That's
Classic.
very classic Queensland bogan as someone who used to live there, so I can call myself that.
There is an official review being called by Ward. I won't be surprised if they attempt to issue a forearm penalty on the jammer. There were a couple of moments on the inside line where Shortcake was using their arms a little bit to contain themselves in. I didn't think that it gained any relative position to them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's not what Ward have seen. So I'll be interested to see if that is a theory they will go with.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the results in this one as the officials pull into the centre to have very official chats. And everyone else is having a lovely grand old time in the middle of the track, getting to know each other, flexing muscles, saying hi.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing I'm not in that crowd. That's one thing that some folks, whenever they see Pavey, the first thing they look at is my arms.
Oh, wouldn't
Nothing, just my arms.
would never ogle you like that, no way.
So folks in Ward who are watching on the stream, I'm keen to know, do you have any snacks on board? Do you have any beverages on board? What kind of cute dogs and puppies are also watching, or cute cats? I'm keen to know, do you have animals with you?
Yeah, please tell us. Alternative pets, I'm also a big fan of. I had a lizard for a long time. Keen to hear about birds and lizards and reptiles. Give us the goss.
We're open to any type of pet.
We are really open. And snacks. Don't judge about snacks or pets.
Let's have a quick look at the penalties while we are here. I don't assume after 7 minutes anyone would be in any trouble. Vodka Chaser has 2, but I mean, at privy to past Pave's notes, directions are Oprah today. There's 4 directions there for Ward, and if we look at East Vic, there is another direction there on Nat 09 also. But it is relatively spread across many players at this stage. No one's in serious penalty problems. If they were, I would be slightly concerned.
Just a little bit, but they're all still getting warmed up, getting settled into the first game. Not even 10 minutes into this first half yet. So we're all just getting settled, but Ward is off to an absolute blinder of a start. So the score is currently sitting at 47 to Western Australia to East Vic's 8.
There was a 15-point jam there for Ward in that past jam, with East Vic scoring 4 points. Simone Thompson has 2 border collies, 2 guinea pigs, and a chicken watching the stream right now. I don't think the chat shows all of those participants in the stream. I would expect from our 41 to have 45 to include those cute dogs.
Oh, 2 border collies. Oh, so great. We love it. Keep it up. Keep telling us all about your fur and or feathered children. We love to hear it.
So folks, if you are having a little bit of trouble seeing the scores, it could be that your screen is a little bit expanded. So I would encourage you just to close out and reopen it and then see if that comes up again. I can see the scores here ourselves, but also we will do our best, Kilwell and I, to continue to talk to you about what the points are for each one.
We'll keep you in the loop.
Oh, and Kilbo, there are 3 rats watching the stream with Alicia today.
Lovely. Oh, I love it. They're so cute.
And Halima has 5 dogs. That is a family right there.
Oh, I love that. 5 dogs. Living the dream. Living my dream.
Cassie is sneaking a peek from work. Nothing like a little sneaky derby while you're also doing something in the background.
It's the way to do. I often have my work computer open with one half actual work and one little minimized screen playing some old derby matches. That's how I watched the VRDL campaign in Portland last year.
Thank you for your service.
Oh. Always a pleasure. And Adelaide as well. The Rads did very, very well in their campaign as well. It was great to watch 2 Australian teams going to Portland.
Yeah, it's super exciting as well to see how the French teams were. They were a bit of a wild card for a lot of folks, and I loved seeing how many people just not only got behind VRDL, but got behind the community for all of those new teams, because the Champs experience is like no other.
I can imagine.
It's wild.
And we are off to a power start for Ward, and that is a quick lead for Jiminy Hit It.
And Jiminy decided not to jump the apex this time, to my surprise. Maybe they're saving it for later for us.
And Ward has grabbed a goat. They've grabbed Nat Nine Tails at the back of the pack as Jiminy fights through the front, takes the outside, and collects 4 points.
They're locking down Natto Nine Tails and the Ward blockers at the back there, trying to get what we call a goat, someone behind them so that they can score some easy points. Jiminy wrestling around there from the East Vic blockers.
Here come reinforcements for East Vic. Strawberry Shortcake back on as jammer and one more blocker out of the bin. So it looks like we are 4 and 4 from what I can tell.
A lot of action there going on turn 4. A lot of lateral footwork, both by Strawberry and Jiminy. And the panty has been taken off by Strawberry Shortcake. I'll be eager to see where their pivot is, who's near the top. Will they pass it? There is a penalty being issued. It does look like that's going to an East Vic blocker.
Yeah, it's gone to 1-2 crush there. Almost had that star pass there. Couldn't quite complete it as Strawberry Shortcake is recycled all the way to the back. Here comes Jiminy.
And there it is. There's the apex jump.
I knew it was coming.
It's nothing like seeing it lined up and you get those jammer eyes and you know.
You know, as soon as you see that 1 2-foot gap on the inside, you're like, I'm going to take that. Thank you very much.
Poor Strawberry is being recycled again. There's nothing more demoralizing than thinking, how many laps have I done just behind this wall? A close pass almost being made there. It looks like Water looking for a track cut. They are not going to get it this time around.
And Jiminy Hit It has done an excellent move to the inside line, collected 4 more points for an absolute mammoth 28-point jam.
That is impressive. There are no points for poor Strawberry from East Vic there, and 28 points for Ward. It looks like Ward are dominating this game.
Absolutely. I hope that Jiminy and all these Ward jammers have been working on their cardio, because it looks like they are running it long.
We do have a public service announcement for some folks that the Ward boys are also backfilling their BCR hit squad today. So make sure you check them out throughout the weekend. They are holding their own, according to Charlie. Thanks for that, Charlie. Let's make sure we watch out for them and support all of our Ward folks.
Absolutely. And it is a lead for East Vic. A Smiling Assassin has come through in front. That's the first lead for East Vic for this game, and she's come through on her scoring pass.
There is still a direction there for one of the Ward blockers. We do have a nice lockdown there in East Vic. They do slow down the jammer. Do they earn some points? They do earn 1 point there, so that's 1 apiece for that jam. Excellent for East Vic to slowly crawl back some of those wild power jams earlier.
Absolutely, and to get some momentum going. The momentum shifts are so important in Derby. If you get 1 lead, you really feel as a team that you can get another.
Yeah, I feel like momentum and also that confidence gets a little bit underrated when you're thinking about like big games. When you start to get like those 24 point jams, you kind of feel like, yeah, I can do this. I've got this. My team have got this, and really locked down. And I think that's what we're seeing now with Ward as they're getting more and more comfortable together in that 3-wall.
Absolutely, they're locked in on the Rumour now, who is pushing away at the back. And it's the same at the front. The pack's getting tighter and tighter together as everyone's working very, very well to keep those jammers contained.
Some big offense by Hades there at the top, trying to assist their jammer to be released. It does look like they are both still stuck in the sad place, trying to wrestle their way through 3 walls.
It is. So we've got Rumor
And
has taken the star off.
There we go.
Completed star pass.
So the pivot for East Vic has received the star. They are hustling behind the Ward Jammer. They are going to call it off, so that will be a 0-0 jam.
Double donuts.
Oh, anyone got donuts?
Ooh. Could go a little sweet treat after a game.
Oh, I love me a good donut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for everyone who is trying to avoid sugar in their diet. I apologize in advance. I can't help myself. And a shout out there for Thirsty. Thirsty is doing an excellent job there, blocking at the back right now. Solo one-on-one to stop that East Vic Jammer.
Beautifully done.
A lot of lateral movement from both teams here to try and open up that seam and get that drive.
And that was some excellent offense by WA blocker Brawler, opening up the inside line for her jammer to get lead. That's Tay Killer Slammer.
Smiling Assassin, the jammer for East Vic, still working through that 3-wall at the top from Ward. A no pack was issued and then brought back. Ward managed to branch out all the way from 40 feet for Smiling Assassin. And if you can't hear, the bench from Ward has called for the time to be called off, and they earned 1 point during 2 points, apologies, for their efforts.
Very nice. Ward are working so beautifully together. It's making me very nervous to play them tomorrow. But it's going to be good fun.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Be great.
Just skate forwards, mate.
Yeah.
That's all I tell most people when they say, what's some advice, baby? And I go, skate forwards. That's all you need to do. In a circle. Keep it simple.
Oh, we got Jiminy hit it and up against Evie.
And Jiminy did get a big hit there at the start. Managed to recover it quickly to establish that lead position.
Coming through for their scoring pass as Evie is still stuck at the back with a very well-formed tripod there.
Oh, and a big hit there at the top. It does look like they're getting issued a low block penalty for that, and Jiminy does go through to manage to score a pass from that. So that is 4 points being issued already for Ward in this jam. Evie driving at the top there as the jammer, really getting absorbed between the two Ward blockers.
Jiminy is brushing off a hit, scooting up the inside. 4 more points, comes through again.
Does manage to hit out a blocker to only have to deal with 2. It's nothing more exciting than only having to deal with 2 instead of a 3-wall.
That is a beautiful sight to see coming around the apex.
And a star pass has been made during that time, so we do now have a call-off being made by the Ward Jammer Jiminy. No points being provided to East Vic, an additional 4, so that brings us to a 12-point jam for Ward. So that is 90 points for Ward and 9 for East Vic.
And we are officially halfway through the first half. Half and half.
Where the first quarter is almost complete.
That's the word I'm looking for. Quarter.
Yeah, I go with quarter. Yeah.
Brain's a bit fried after a game, you know.
I don't blame you. You're brave enough to take up the chat while you've just finished another game. There's nothing like feeling like all of your sweat has just consumed you, and now instead of it externalizing, it's re-internalizing itself.
Yeah. Because it's so hot in here, just drinking so much water, you just feel
that's the life.
But I must admit, this is an incredible venue, so thank you to the East Coast Clash organisers for sourcing Darebin Sports Stadium here in Reservoir for our game today. It is wonderfully organised, heaps of room, all facilities, and everyone's going to be having a great time despite the fact that it is 1,000,000 degrees in Victoria today.
And don't forget, later tonight, in a couple hours' time, we do have a Chaos Clash game happening over in Track 1. Now, the rules for Chaos Clash are a little bit different. I got a sneak peek of what some of it looks like, and there's a few wild things in there, like official reviews can be won via dance battle.
Oh, yes.
The jam whistle is a kazoo.
That one I think is possibly my favourite.
And also, I believe that the jam ref can decide whether to either issue the penalty or return back to the 2-minute jam. Yes, oh, you've got it here, Kilbo. Tell me more.
Alrighty, so the head ref can veto any rule at any time. Really going to keep you on your toes there. So when presenting for a penalty, skaters will have the opportunity to answer a random fact. If correct, they return to the track. If incorrect, they serve their time. This is great as someone who is an avid trivia goer. That's going to be real interesting. We do have the rotating rules, so no pivots. Star passes will be considered incomplete unless thrown between jammer and pivot. Hand-to-hand passes will incur an interference penalty, so I hope you've been working on your softball skills. If anyone gets a penalty, the jam immediately becomes 2 minutes.
That's the one that I was referring to.
That's the killer one. Yeah, that's a jammer's worst nightmare.
I don't know what you're talking about. I love 2-minute jams.
Oh, I love working so hard.
I just skate around and wave. That's really all Pavey Wavy does.
Work in the crowd. Extra jammers. Both teams have 2 active point-scoring jammers. That sounds like fun. Refs can roll dice to decide how many blockers for each team per jam. Another one that's going to be very, very interesting is pivots are not bound by the engagement zone.
Oh.
And as someone who has a pivot on their team who enjoys out the front violence.
That seems like golden retriever energy right there.
Anti-derby direction, always a classic. And then old OG derby, blockers start kneeling. First whistle, blockers can skate. Second whistle, jammers released. And the final rotating rule, the team that is behind in points gets a 1 second head start for each point they are behind, with the opposition jammer starting in the bin with no recorded penalty.
Interesting. It'll be hard to police all of those changes. It will be interesting, and I definitely think if you've got time later tonight, just check out the stream. Maybe just spend like 10 minutes checking out the game, watch a quarter.
Absolutely. I must admit, I did hear a little tidbit from one of our head AHOs, Buster Hammy, who is a very beloved member of Dragon City Roller Derby based in Bendigo. And she mentioned that she would go hard on the dance-off. So if you want to win that review, you got to bring the moves.
I think everyone in roller derby has some moves. Whether they admit to having moves or not is definitely another story. But everyone, I feel like we have the space where folks are confident to bust their moves, whether they're dad moves or breakdancing moves or fabulous moves.
Maybe a bit niche, but I'm a fan of the Tina from Bob's Burgers, and it's just like the full twerk, but it's just mostly neck.
It's like a chest bob, rather than your head going just all torso.
Yeah, it's an absolute killer when you're waiting in opportunities like this, official timeouts, where you're just gonna chill and want to stay warm.
Yeah, I think now everyone. To be honest, it looks like the officials are just handing out candy. So I assume this is just so everyone can get their candy. It doesn't appear that anyone is dramatically injured or... everyone's just having it's hot, have a rest.
Have a rest. Oh, we have the rolling whistle though, so rear skaters are returning to track.
Charlie, you did put in a question about was Jiminy meant to get a lead that time, and it should have been a no rather than it should have been a no pass. I believe from reviewing the initial pass, it was okay. It was just they had already passed the blocker for that initial pass. It was the low block was issued on the consecutive pass, so they could have still earned their point if they passed them earlier, but otherwise they should have really been awarded 3 points in that pass.
Thank you as always for your wisdom, Pavey. As we get started, Jiminy is back and has slipped past that final blocker, grabs the lead.
Yeah, it does look like both teams weren't quite set up on that whistle to start with. Everyone kind of got a little bit flustered, and that meant that Jiminy could just capitalize straight on the whistle.
And snuck through again, working excellent 45s, opening up gaps for them to take as they come through with a quick scoring pass and coming around again for another.
And Strawberry Shortcake is really having trouble on that first turn on the outside line. Having to recycle now. They have taken the panty cover off, so they could pass that to the pivot. However, it looks like the pivot and the jammer's arms are not quite long enough when the blocker's right at the top of the pack. That has changed now, though, so it could look like the pass is about to be made. It has been made, actually. So the pivot has now got the jammer's star and is just putting it on their head right now. Another pass being made by Ward. That's an additional 4 points in the air that Corey, the official, is showing to everyone. Big recycle there by East Vic on turn 3.
It's hard work for that pivot, taking the star and getting recycled back, but you've helped out your jammer, get the pressure on. And here comes Jiminy from the scoring pass.
Oh, we could almost feel the ground shake a little bit from that fall by Jiminy on the inside line after a attempted apex jump there.
Landed heavy on that hit, but straight up, props to them, and they've come through for another scoring pass.
The East Vic pivot jammer still driving there on the outside line, looking a little bit knackered.
Must be hard work with those very, very strong tripods from Ward.
And the whistle has been blown. That is no additional points there on that pass and no points there for East Vic. And our poor pivot jammer friend looks like they're ready to have a lot of cold water.
Yes, yes.
That is a 20-point jam there for Jiminy and Ward, taking their lead to 114 points against East Vic's 9. East Vic opting to stay at the back there for a 3-wall. Ward opting to sit above them as a little 3-wall cycle. Does look like that has gained them a little bit more positioning, but the jammer for Ward that has active footwork there to drive through the front. Both jammers now chasing each other.
Ward is lead, but the Rumor is chasing down and force that call off. That's excellent pressure from East Vic there.
And that was an excellent neutralized jam there. No points for either team on that jam. East Vic deciding to sit there still at the back. Ward looking to smother them from the top. Yet that sit is now being made. You can see the offense there on the outside, just driving through to make that easy work there for Tequila, the jammer for Ward. Excellent teamwork on that start.
And they've reset themselves up solidly, looking to do all defense against a very, very strong Western Australia team, as Smiling Assassin really works against that tripod at the front, trying to avoid getting worked to the outside.
And when you get to a margin like this, Ward have now got quite a wide margin. They've now got 118 points to East Vic's 9. I feel like this is the time where you just try anything.
It's an excellent opportunity to try something new, see if it works. What have you got to lose?
Yeah, do anything, see what works, see what doesn't, and then just move on to the next thing.
Smiling Assassin has bridged out that Western Australian defense, got through, but the jam has been called before she can make her scoring pass.
Yeah, that was an excellent timing there from Ward for an additional 2 points, question mark.
TBC points.
Yes, 6. The 6 and 8 look very similar from my point of view, but it is a 6, so that's 122 to Ward. 9 points for East Vic, and the 5-second call has been made. And there is a lot of clattering here with the skates. You can kind of hear everyone moving their footwork and driving each other to try and slow down those jammers. East Vic could have their lead jammer in position now. Do they earn it? Yes, they do. This is the first lead jammer for East Vic in this half. In the second quarter of this first half.
And here comes Rumor for a scoring pass, as looks like Unleashed is still working at a nicely formed Witch's tripod at the back of the pack.
Oh, when you say witch's tripod, it reminds me of those road cones. And you can have your witch's hats and you slow down the vehicle.
I've suggested it to them before that they should put witches' hats on their helmets, but no one listens to me. And there's been a successful star pass forward as Rumour's working and working to work on those points and is through.
And that is a call-off now being made by East Vic. That is a 4 points there for East Vic, who are now back in the fray. They tried anything and they found out.
Nice, very nice. That has pulled them into double digits. Yay! So 17 points for East Vic up against 122 from Ward so far. But we still have a whole other half to go, and they may be finding their rhythm. Who knows?
Yeah, so that was 2 laps there by the East Vic Jammer to score those beautiful 8 points. Beauty.
And just 2 blockers on the track for Ward as Evie fights and fights and fights, but it looks like Jiminy has got another quick lead. They're doing a wonderful job this game.
Yeah, Jiminy's footwork today has just really baffled the East Vic blockers.
And they're really, really working all the way to the line, all the way to the other line, really making sure that defense has full coverage. And if there's not, taking advantage.
Evie's really driving those Ward blockers to try and break them up there at the top.
Fancy footwork again from Jiminy to sneak up the inside, comes through for 4 points.
And a star pass has been made there to the East Vic blocker. We have, what was it, probably the 5th, the 5th apex jump for Jiminy in this game so far.
That was the cleanest one yet, I reckon.
They're getting more confident with it every time.
Finding their grip on the floors and sending it.
And there's some comms to call it from the bench. It does look like we're still going for points.
And the East Vic pivot, who is now the Jammer, is coming through for a scoring pass. Will the jam be called? Yes, it will.
No points there being provided to East Vic, but 16. That's 4 laps for Ward. Maybe we should start just counting laps. When we get to the bigger numbers, I'm not very good at counting above 10.
No, not with... we can use fingers and toes, but again, my brain's still pretty fried.
Look, you're doing great, Kilbo. You're doing great.
Thanks. And we're off for another one. Oh, and a lovely work sneaking up the inside for Tequila Slammer.
The East Vic Smiling Assassin Jammer getting a few big hits there from the 2-wall at the top with Ward, who are not afraid to lock them down. The call-off has been made by Tequila, the Ward Jammer, to earn, 2 points for Ward in that jam. It's interesting to see that both teams are opting to stay at the back line. Everyone seems to love the back line right now. We really cut off that speed and momentum from either jammer.
Well, it is a very, very physical game as well, so they might be trying to just limit just how much of a run-up these very strong jammers are getting into their defense. Oh, like that! That's an excellent nudge to the inside from East Vic there, drawing, looks like unleashed all the way back.
And that's exactly what East Vic need right now. They need more room to allow their offense players to assist their jammers and getting out.
Another beautiful push out from Pushy Tat, allowing Strawberry Shortcake to grab a lead for East Vic.
And Generica not deterred at all from being hit out a few times, and they have managed to hold strong on this pass. Strawberry Shortcake with the lead and being able to earn some points in this pass.
And Generica has just absolutely flown through for a quick 4 points.
It does look like a failure to return is being issued to an East Vic blocker. So that means that we will have one less East Vic blocker in this jam for the next 30 seconds. That isn't stopping either jammer though. We already have a pass being made for Ward. That's their second lap. Shortcake does call off the jam. They have earned 2 points for their efforts. which for East Vic is excellent. The more starts that they can have to get that lead position, the more they'll be able to control this jam. And that was an excellent start from them to be able to set up that one offense at the top and then get those 3 wall to really lock down and hit out the ward jammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like now that I've talked about the back enough, everyone's decided to start at the top, which is really interesting.
They can't hear us on the track, but they must be listening somehow.
Thanks, Brandon. It's Jen Erika. I'll remember that for next time.
Thank you so much for letting us know, Generica.
It does look like a Natto Ninetales has been sent to the box, so that is one less blocker for East Vic. That jam has been called. That is 4 points being issued to Ward and no points earned for East Vic on that jam.
I think we have 2 witches in the box at the moment, so it looks like there'll be 2 blockers down as Smiley takes the star for East Vic. So let's see how the 2 blockers from East Vic handle. They're being excellent offense by Waters, completely surrounding those 2 blockers.
Yeah,
Smiley
2 wall starts are hard.
Very, very hard.
They're hard for most folks, and I feel like I only really got confident with them after doing it like 2 hours worth of practice.
Another massive apex attempt from Jiminy hit it.
And that was a big fall as well on the inside line.
I think that rattled our commentary table a bit.
We do have the East Vic Jammer has now been released. They are not lead, but they can score some points. A call-off has been made before East Vic can score any points. And if you look closely, I feel like the inside pack ref has little LEDs in their whistle.
Really?
So when it's loud enough, you can actually see it flash a little bit green.
That's cool. Oh, I'm keeping my eye out for that. That's a wonderful little trick.
Yeah, we all love little shiny things, flashy LED things.
Light up wheels.
We're all like cats. Anything just
Oh, yeah.
shiny, come to me. Some real not locking down from both packs here, but it does look like the East Vic Jammer is driving up on the inside line. Big hit there by Water 135. They are going to get issued a penalty for it though. They'll get a clockwise block for not continuing skating in derby direction. That gives the East Vic Jammer lead jammer position.
I believe that's the 2nd or 3rd lead for the Rumour now, who is having an absolute great game considering just how strong this Ward defense is.
It does look like a whistle has been blown. It is going to the jammer for East Vic. It looks like that was a back block penalty. That's a bit unfortunate because from what I could see, they were skating quite fast on the outside line and stumbled forward, and unfortunately they gained relative position against the Ward blocker in the process.
Unfortunate, and I would say this is going to be a long 2-minute jam, but these jams have been running long all game regardless. So let's see if Ward can really capitalize on this power jam.
And it's excellent that they decided to play some roller derby on turn 3 because I feel like the crowd in turn 3 needed more action in their lives.
Absolutely. Actually, I think that's my teammates on turn 3. I see a Chico's uniform over there.
Some great offense there being played for East Vic at the top there. That looks like that's Natto 9 there.
Beautiful. Fun fact you may not be aware of is that we do have a mother-daughter combo in the Witches, one of my favorites. So Nat and the Rumour, who are working at the front tripod here, are mother and daughter. Which generational derby is some of my favorite derby.
And I feel like we're getting to this end. Oh, I think everyone just saw and shuddered their chest after that huge hit that the Ward Jammer Tequila put on the East Vic blocker. Just went flying onto their bottom.
And Tenacious V took that like an absolute champ, straight back up is what we like to see. And having a quick check-in from the officials, she's all good. She's smiling.
They're smiling, thumbs up. This is really what they signed up for a huge hit. It's like the roller coaster ride you didn't know that you were queued up for. Suddenly the log flume becomes a roller coaster.
it is fun sometimes. And like when it doesn't quite hurt, it just takes the breath out, and you realize, oh, I enjoyed that.
That's the adrenaline I was hoping for.
There it is. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, I do feel like we get ourselves in positions in roller derby, like, especially one like that where we have almost like this consensual agreement. You can hit me that hard, but I also want to fall safely.
Absolutely. And it comes back down to one of my favorite things about Derby is just the community. You know, we take a couple of big hits and there's usually a, are you okay? As you skate around the corner.
With some giggles.
With some giggles.
So although this game is not a close game, I will say that both teams have adapted their offense to help their jammers. And we've seen that with East Vic sending that one offense to do more line work on the inside and outside to help their jammer. Meanwhile, the Ward Jammers have been using that footwork and their offense has just been driving through from the back to follow them up. And you'll see that within this next jam, how both offense players for their teams are changing their tactics a little bit to be able to get advantage.
It is interesting because the intermission clock you may see on your screen is counting down, but because we have an official review, it seems we will have one more jam, so we will have to fix that clock up for you. We will have one more jam in this half.
It does look like the award bench are just checking in as well with the officials to see if there is going to be something, but it doesn't look like anything is coming out of fruition from that. Just having a general check-in, a general chat.
And that's the rolling whistle.
I feel like in roller derby we should have some like soundboard, almost like some motion sounds for particular moments. Like I mean with the action going on of those big hits in the middle, there should be some like ooh noise that like comes out.
Yeah, no, I like that. I can just go back and edit some videos and add some cool sound effects. That sounds like the go.
Okay, folks, well, make sure you jump over to the Ward Boys for the time being that are over in track 1. Come back and see us in 20 minutes. So give yourself a break, make sure you go to the toilet, get a bevy, and then go and check out the boys on the other track, and we'll see you here in 20 minutes.
See you soon.
Hello, welcome. We are back into the action. We have just had some charts from Ward, and it looks like East Vic skipping the chart this way around. A reminder for you, Ward have 171 points and 27 points for East Vic, so Ward dominating this game. But that doesn't mean that we can't see some sneaky moments here from East Vic. I'm Pavey Wavy, and with me here is Kilbo.
Hello, welcome back everybody. We're getting geared up for second half of Roller Derby. The clock has timed out, but looks like the officials are just getting the last few bits organised. In fact, Hypodermic has taken their skates off, so maybe a couple of extra minutes before we get started.
Yes, we are doing a costume change here, putting on our outfits.
Roller Derby is a fashion show, as we all well know.
And I'm keen to know from folks whether you're planning on watching other games tonight. If you haven't already, reminder that the Chaos Clash is later tonight. We are keen to see all the varying rules that will be taking place there. It will be a pure chaos.
I am very excited to watch some of that. I hope it is madness and no one knows what's going on, because that's the best kind of Chaos Clash.
We do want to thank our first aid sponsor, Deadly Sports Plus today, and also thank the Darebin Community Sports Stadium for having us here in this venue. And lastly, our streaming partner, Maven Move, for being able to present this stream for you today.
Thank you very much, Maven. This setup on the commentary table is fabulous. I feel very fancy. Everyone's just chilling, having a chat, getting ready for second half to get underway.
Yeah, this venue unfortunately doesn't have a lot of cooling mechanisms, so it is a little bit hot in here. So I won't be surprised if you see a lot of cooling towels going on, a little bit of a longer break for some folks, just to make sure that everyone is able to stay cool on this hot day.
Absolutely, and Deadly Sports Plus, as we said, our first aiders for today, are doing a wonderful job of making sure all our skaters stay heat safe. We've added 5 minutes into all our intermissions, and they're coming around and doing checks to make sure all our skaters are hydrated, happy, feeling good, ready to skate fast and hit hard.
So if we reflect back on the first half, we remember that Jiminy did at around 5 apex jumps.
Minimum.
The Ward players were opting to sit on top of East Vic, who were lining up in the back line, so there was almost like a smother action going on there. And a lot of 3-in-1s, so 3 blocker defense with 1 offense.
All right, 5 seconds being called. We've got a 3-to-2 pack advantage to Ward, and we are off.
Both jammers getting a run up because the blockers have decided to start at the top. Looks like East Vic are going for a different strategy in this half to see if they can get more advantage. And we have our first penalty issued for the second half. That is to an East Vic blocker. Evie, the East Vic jammer at the front there, driving against that solid 3-wall of Ward.
That's some fantastic offense from Ward to get Unleashed their jammer through for their second scoring pass. As we finally... Oh, no, I lie. We still have 3 skaters on for East Vic, so they're still at a pack disadvantage.
Oh, and there was a bum slide there. I'm just going to cut just in case they are having a little bit of trouble getting up. Unleashed does look all right. They don't need assistance. They've just done a perfect bum slide from getting hit by the East Vic blocker on the outside. So it's likely you're going to get a beautiful bruise.
Oh, yeah. And tough as guts are Roller Derby players, but absolutely they've just gone with first aid just to have a check over. But everyone looks to be happy and okay for the time being. So that is good news indeed.
And it does look like we're already into the action. The OPRs are not ready and are hustling now on the outside. You can see them just making up to the pack. Poor Chief is like, oh, we've started. My goodness.
Well, that's some strong defense there. All the packs getting muddled up though. And Generica is through for another lovely lead for Ward as Strawberry Shortcake gets recycled all the way to the back, takes the star off, looking for their pivot.
Big hit there on the inside line by Ace Vic. Generica has called off the jam after that big hit. It does look like a lot of the Ward jammers are getting hit either on the inside or outside and slamming hard, getting that solid fall. I hope their bodies are going to be able to recover for tomorrow because they've still got a weekend of roller derby ahead of them.
Got a lot of games. From the look of the schedule, Ward has got a full roster of games this weekend. Probably great for them, having travelled all this way to be here. So more roller derby, the better. But it does seem that the Witches are determined to hold their lines this second half. Just from that first jam back, really solid coverage of the inside and a couple of big hits.
There isn't an official timeout being called. It's likely just to have a chat on the action that was going on the inside there with that hit out from the East Vic blockers. I don't believe there was anything potentially penalty worthy. I think it's more just reviewing the flow of gameplay that's being made. We do have a full complement of Ward players, but we have one East Vic blocker in the penalty box at this stage. So they will start with a 3 down and Ward having an advantage.
And it is something you will notice with the Witches as well, is they do rotate their jammers in as blockers. Very often you can see Evie's on the track now as a blocker, despite having jammed a fair bit in the first half. This is something I noticed playing them quite a lot, is they rotate their jam lineup in probably a non-traditional way, not just having dedicated jammers. They're rotating in and out of jamming and blocking, being very, very versatile players.
I think I would get confused.
Me too.
Ward is setting up an excellent inside sweep, which has actually given East Vic the lead jammer position by stealing that offense. That means the Rumor has got an lead, but the Ward Tequila jammers right behind them. There's some jammer on jammer action there at the back.
That was an awesome chase down for Tequila Slammer, and just, that's that jammer on jammer right at the second to give Rumor the advantage to push that tripod out the front. Both jammers looking pretty stuck in their respective defense.
There is a no pack being called, which means East Vic does have to hustle up the front. The jam has been called off. Did they score all the points? No, they did not. They got a no pass, no point for the last blocker. That means that East Vic did score 3 points towards 2 in that jam. And wow, there was a jammer on jammer action in that one. We haven't seen that for the game yet.
And it was very well timed little shove to give the Rumor some extra, room to get through. It was lovely.
And I can see now that Strawberry Shortcake is blocking, as you were mentioning before, Kilbo. So they are rotating around a little bit.
And Jiminy's worked to the inside, done some fancy toe stop work, and slipped through for lead.
And it looks like a star pass has been made to the East Vic pivot, who is driving past the Ward blockers. We're looking for a big slice here. That is made by the Ward jammer there against the 3-all. Some solid drive action going on there at the back.
Jiminy Hitter doing a wonderful job of just breaking apart that defense, working to each line all the way and slipping through for 4 more points.
Does look like the pack has now broken up at the top, which does give the East Vic pivot a chance to make a lap and score some points here. They will be shut down by the Ward jammer, who has made 3 passes, so that is 12 points there for Ward, and unfortunately no points for East Vic in this lap.
I do hope at one point we do get to see a full star pass pivot jam. I do love watching the pivot re-enter the pack and seeing what they can do after they've taken the star. Mostly because I used to pivot and I wanted to jam, so It happens.
Most people generally go the other way around, Kilbo. Most people I know would go, oh, I've tried jamming, but I'd prefer to block.
Oh, it's
There's
some
some-
very fancy footwork from the
Yes.
Roomer. Lovely.
Everyone loves some great footwork there on the inside line, and there was almost like a little pause there at the end, just everyone checking whether they got through.
There was some intense chase down from Wood, but they could not catch the Roomer.
Does look like there was 2 points, three
Three.
points being issued there to Ward, extending their lead 198 to Ward and 30 for East Vic in this game so far. Now both packs have opted to now start further at the back compared to the start. There's a great sweep there on the outside for Ward that has provided a lead jammer for Ward.
Smiling Assassins really working on that defense at the front.
And a lot of footwork by both teams here, moving laterally to try and shake off those blockers. There's a penalty that has been issued to a Ward blocker at the end of that jam.
No points for East Vic on that last one, and Ward with 4, pushing them to 202.
I will say in the second half, Kilbo, that Eastwick have been getting out of the pack a lot faster than in that first quarter against Ward. So they have switched up their strategies a little bit to be able to get their jammers the help that they need.
I completely agree. They're coming back from doing some quick offense to help out that jammer and really limiting that score bleed.
And a no pack has been called there. A quick rush up from East Vic to reform the pack. That doesn't stop Tequila though, who has received the lead for Ward.
And drawn a penalty from East Vic at the same time. One of their blockers was sent to the bin for blocking out of play when that no pack was called. Evie is out for East Vic. Tequila Slammer neck and neck, and oh, they're gonna run it. This is great.
No, there was a debate. There was a debate between the jammer and the bench around whether they wanted to run it or not, and I think the call was made. No, I don't want to keep going. I'm good, thanks.
I'm good, thanks. Let's save some energy. We've got 4 games this weekend.
Yeah, it's real luxury, isn't it, being able to play 4 games on a weekend? What making it worth the trip, making it worth their while.
Absolutely, but it's tough. It's tough work.
Oh, I don't doubt that whatsoever.
Oh no.
It does look like
Ooh.
both teams are kind of mixing up whether they start at the back or start at the front, and it kind of depends on which jammer is on how they approach that.
Absolutely. The start is off and past for East Vic.
Oh, and that was a quick recycle. That is unfortunately going to be a track cut penalty for the pivot jammer of East Vic. This means that Wood do get a beautiful power jam or a pajama jam.
Ooh. Ward's offense has been so strong. Looks like they're sending all in and sweeping across and breaking up that pack as much as possible. Lovely, lovely footwork again from our Ward jammer. Unleashed.
East Vic setting up at 3 wall at the top, but it does look like Water eyeing them up for a sweep there on the inside line. There it comes. Excellent work to assist their jammer to score an additional 4 points there in this power jam.
Bit of a tumble to the inside for one of the East Vic jammers. As Unleashed comes through yet again.
Unleashed, though, getting pushed around a little bit in that middle, just holding their own to be able to get through that pass.
Looks like the pivot jammer is standing in the box.
Big hit there from East Vic to lock down, but that doesn't stop the offense from Ward breaking up that 3 wall. Tiny with that big hit there on East Vic. And claps all around from the Ward bench. They are stoked with that outcome. That's 24 points for Ward, and East Vic with no points earned on that pass. That is 5 laps. No, 6 laps.
6 laps.
If my math is correct. Yes, 6 laps.
And the monster effort from Ward with that last one.
And that means that our differential is perfectly 200 now as well.
Oh, I do like it when it's a nice even differential, easy math.
Yeah, I
easy to
was
figure
not
out.
going to do the math earlier, Kilbo. It was enough.
They were ahead by enough. It's like Ward is sending out Jiminy, but there seems to be some kind of there's a team timeout for East Vic. Taking some time to have a breather, reset, refocus, ready for the next jam.
Oh, so there is in the chat, Alicia, you're asking, is that Penny in the black shirt at Ward bench? That's Modern Warfare. Yes, it's Modern Warfare at the bench there supporting the WA folks. It does look like there is a discussion being had with the officials and the blocker who's on the track. It looks like they may be issued 2 penalties. I cannot confirm or deny that though.
So it does look like we are starting with a Ward power start from Jiminy Hit It. Oh no,
No,
there we
there's
go.
just a bigger person in our way, so
Yeah.
we cannot see.
I got
Or we're just very small.
I'm just directly on the wrong angle here.
There is an advantage though for Ward still. It looks like they're setting up some O there on the inside line. Will their jammer take it? They will. So that's an excellent sweep there for the start on Ward.
Absolutely. And Ward are consistently doing very effective offense right from the jam start. The rumour, however, is through, like you're saying, we're getting quicker and quicker with East Vic getting out of the pack. Jiminy has grabbed 4 points and called it before Rumour could re-enter the engagement zone. So that leaves us with 4 points only for Ward this time.
Just 4 this time, not 24.
Not going to get too greedy.
Remember tonight, if you are prepared for the action all weekend, that tonight's special Chaos Clash is on. You want to make sure you watch at least a little bit of that game to see the madness going on. And there's some excellent work there for the Ward team to actually do offense for their jammer while doing defense against the East Vic jammer. Smiling Assassin there.
Oh. And not to have Jiminy hog all the apex jumps, that is Generica doing a lovely, lovely apex hop, successfully grabbing 4 points, calling it off, making it look a fair bit too easy.
Just reminding everyone that all jammers can do apex jumps.
Sure. We're getting there.
There is a pivot who has placed their toe on the jam line, which means that any opposing East Vic blockers will have to be behind them. Since the other blocker is a pivot, they are fine in this position, but it's interesting to see that strategy being applied again in this game. Evie there as the jammer stuck at the back against Ward. They're getting some offense to drive through. There's a lot of zigzagging going on to try and get them out.
Absolutely. And Star is off looking for their pivot. There's some fabulous offense from 191 Hades from Ward, really, really helping their jammer get through with some excellently timed offense right at the front of the pack.
And it looks like a star pass has been made there to the East Vic blocker, but there is a call being made for Ward.
Looked like Nat was keen for that one. The arms go down. Oh, no. Could have got in.
If only.
If only. Big smiles around there as they come back to the bench, so that's good. This is interesting to see. So now for Eastvic, we have Tutu. That is Screw, who is a lovely, lovely guest from Kingston City Rollers, helping them out today.
Oh.
Screw is a wonderful gem. It'd be good to see what she does here.
Might shake things up a little bit in this game.
Why not? Try something new.
Our score currently 250 to Ward, 30 points to Eastvic. And we are slowly encroaching the fourth quarter of the game.
5 seconds has been called. Let's... Look like we got a 1 blocker advantage to Ward again.
Yeah, I'm keen after this jam just to check out the penalties, see if anyone is in any trouble. It looks like it's spread out a fair amount.
So jam is out almost at the same time, but looks like Eastvic has been called lead, but they are going to run it.
Yeah, so Screw could be the change that Eastvic were looking for to create that momentum shift.
And has taken a big hit and run all the way back as Tequila comes through for 4 points.
Yes, that I thought they were going to call penalty for a moment there, but no, there's 4 points. Screw also earning 4 points. That is match for match.
Ooh, and a lovely coverage of the inside line there, one of the Eastvic blockers, forcing Tequila out. Ooh, and a stumble, and still going nicely.
Yeah, still smiles and laughs though. Everyone's still having a good time here in this intense game. There's been a lot of faster movements happening now in the second half of this game. It's been interesting to see that the bridging has become a lot more important for this half.
Absolutely. I have noticed the Witches a few times holding back as they decided offense, really making sure that Ward is bridging and giving less blockers for their jammers to have to pass.
Yeah, make sure you've got that 10-foot double check between each player, and then that final 20 feet between that last blocker. So Liz is asking about food options at the venue.
Ooh, as I would have to find out. I'm not sure if food options in the venue. Pavey, you were saying before that there is a supermarket up the road.
Yes, so there is a cafe here. I would recommend, though, if you walk back up the hill, there's a Summerhill shopping centre, and there they have like a muffin break. They have a bakery. I believe there's like a fish and chip shop. And also a supermarket. I think it's a Coles and an Aldi. So pick your adventure a little bit there. And I believe actually there's a grocer too who may be open during the day if you want some fresh fruit and veggies.
Not everyone can be as spoiled as the Chicos, as our member Hurl Scout very, very kindly made a full list of places to eat for all of us and how far away it was from both the venue and our respective hotels. So we're all going to go get ramen tonight.
Oh, that sounds delicious. And yes, I'm struggling, folks, to pronounce Generica's name. I feel like I might need to just ask a ward player after this how to pronounce this name, because I am struggling, and it might be my Kiwi accent, or I could just be thinking about this too much. So I appreciate you trying to help me through text. I think I'm just going to have to ask for a vocal recording.
Yeah, send through your vocal recordings, or I might just flag down a ward player and ask to be informed.
Practice behind the scenes a little bit.
We will find out the correct way.
So, Charlie, I agree with you that there can be a big difference between the score and the effort on the track. And I've noticed with the effort for a lot of these players that they've changed tactics a little bit from the start. We saw a lot of big hits, especially around the outside and the inside lines at the start of the game. And now in the second half, they've opted to contain a little bit more to try and get that jammer locked in and to hold them on the track rather than getting those big recycles. And I think part of that is weighing up the effort of, do I contain and hold where I am, or do I really want to run back 20 feet myself?
Absolutely agree as well. The scoreboard is very rarely reflective of the effort any team is putting in. Everyone's always playing their hardest, doing their best. And my advice and words to live by, your best is always enough.
Just try.
Just try.
Just try. And whenever people ask me what is like your pro tip, my first pro tip is skate forwards. Just skate forwards. If you get out, awesome. But you tried. You went forwards.
That is great hot tip number one.
Yeah, I think especially with roller derby, there's so much action going on, Kilbo, and I mean, if you think about the strategies of the starts, you think about the consecutive passes, the offense, and all of that can just get a bit overwhelming, and it can get a bit much, especially if you're in the fray like the blockers constantly all the time and looking at each of the players, it can get a bit overwhelming, and when you kind of cut everything back and just look at like one or two things and just focus on those, then you can kind of start to layer again. And I feel like being able to have the art of keeping it simple and then creating complexities really helps, like with roller derby in a game in itself.
Absolutely agree. Fabulous advice. The KISS method is always my favorite method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Little kissies. We have got an official timeout here being called. I do want to call attention to something that you can't quite see on the stream, which is we have like a Wheel of Fortune board that is being prepared for Chaos Clash. So we can kind of tell you a little bit of like a sneak peek of what's going to be in this like mystery board, the spinning wheel.
The spinning wheel sign, the one that says Lawless Track, is quite intimidating, it seems.
I don't know, there's Ring of Fire in here as well. And if I turn sideways...
Ref's Revenge?
Ref's Revenge. I was looking at it like fish. But you're right, it's not a reef, it's a ref. Double whistle? Dispivoted. I get the pun there. Dispivoted.
Hot potato? Sydney's rule. I'm not sure what Sydney's rule is yet, but it sounds foreboding.
And TikTok.
A classic.
So those are the sneak peek of the options that we have in the wheel for later tonight. Rings of Fire, Lawless Track, Dispivoted, Double Whistle, Sydney's Rule,
Ref's
TikTok.
Revenge. It's my favourite.
That does sound like a horror movie. It probably is a horror movie somewhere.
East Coast Clash sequel, Ref's Revenge. Oh, and 5 seconds to be called. We're about to get the action underway again.
Does look like there's still a whistle being called just because one of the officials has taken off their wrist guards, probably because they were very sweaty. So we're probably just cleansing a little bit before we put all our gear back on. So just give them a moment to get dressed.
We'll do anything for our officials, really. We do appreciate them so much. And we're back.
Both teams there slowly inching back to the jam line. Beautiful inside line work with a coast there, a skater coast. I don't see those very often. That's a nice reminder.
It's beautiful from Generica there.
And a catch there by the East Vic Blockers to slow down the Ward Jammer. We're definitely going with those side surfs now. That side surfing is back in style.
I mean, it looks fabulous.
Oh, and that's one of those ones where you hear the hit. That's the soundboard oof noise.
There's a big hit taken by Never Ending Rory there, but straight back up. Props to him as Smiling Assassin comes through.
Call off now being made by Ward. That is an additional 4 points there being issued to Ward, extending their lead 271 to 41.
Slowly inching towards the beautiful 300. See how we go, because the pressure from the Witches in the second half has been great. They've been getting out of the pack faster, working together very, very well. and limiting those big jams that we saw in the very first quarter.
But there is that moment when you, sometimes as a jammer and you're skating up to the pack, that you look at the place you don't want to go.
Yes.
And you end up going there.
Yes.
And I feel like that happened a little bit in that last pack when you just had that one blocker that you're like, just don't go there. And you ended up doing it.
And that is a lead for Evie from East Vic. It's come through on a scoring pass.
Yes, this will be their firstly jammer in a little while now, inching into quarter 4. So it'd be great to get that momentum again. There has a pass being made already though by Jiminy, so we'll see if they can match point for point. Does look like it's 2 points there being provided to East Vic in that pass to 4 points of Ward.
Absolutely. Evie took her 2 points and went, I've had enough of that.
Be interested to see if we continue to opt with Ward going back onto East Vic. It does look like they're going with that strategy. An official review is being called.
Right at the last second, as per usual.
It's just a little surprise there. I'm not really sure the core. There is a points discussion being made. So the jam ref is just debating with the officials there about points at the end of that jam. Oh yes, they amended Ward for a 4-2 rather than an 8, I believe.
Yes. And Tequila Slam has slipped through with more wonderful off-the-line offense from her blockers, as Screw really fights hard up the front with these very, very set blockers and pushing it all the way to the outside.
We have a little bit of a roly-poly there on the inside by the East Vic blocker, working on some offense to help out Screw there. On some excellent footwork there on the inside line for Tequila. But they do unfortunately get a cut track penalty. Although we looked at it and looked excited, it seems that their foot did go out. That means there's a power jam now for East Vic.
Screw is taking early advantage, pushing all the way out the front.
Screw looks a little bit tired after driving through the pack there. And I'm not surprised. They had to do a lot of driving to be able to hustle through against that Ward wall. You can see a lot of footwork and a lot of action going on in between the Ward blockers and their offense for East Vic. Tequila has now been released from the penalty box.
Which is setting up for defense. They're not sending in an offense to help out Screw. They're doing all defense to try and keep Tequila at the back there.
And it does look like both jammers are kind of stuck behind those two butts. They're really having a hard time wriggling in between one of those blockers to drive up. Having said that, there is a lot of footwork and movement going on between each wall to try and drive across and get those points. The jam has been concluded. It does look like that's 3 points being earned for East Vic, 8 points for Ward in that jam.
So that's bringing our totals up for Ward at 283 and East Vic on 46.
And I do, if I have time, just want to have... Oh, no, I'm too slow. Next one, I'm keen to just check out the penalties and see if anyone is approaching that 5 or 6 penalty mark. Does look like the directions have settled down between both teams. Oh, and some excellent footwork there by Rumour there on the outside line.
Taking some big hits from that last line of defense there before being released.
And that was an excellent catch there by East Vic to lock down Jiminy just on that first slice. It was a big drive there to take the hit, and they just absorbed it. Oof. 3 points for Ward, none earned for East Vic in that jam. Oh, this is my moment.
It's time.
Let's see. Oh, okay. So April O'Wheel has fouled out. We've missed that.
Completely.
that must have been an official review earlier where I mentioned that something was going on and we weren't sure. It must have been a foul out being made. A lot of footwork from both jammers there on the inside line, both vying for that spot.
Penalty called for Eastvic blocker.
And lead jammer is being called forward there.
Smiley pushing and working her way through these last blockers, trying to get out as Unleashed comes around for a scoring pass.
There's a lot of action going on in the center of the track. Both teams kind of locking down, as we were mentioning before, rather than opting to head out, just slowing down the jammer. And there is a call from the Ward bench to mark the pivot for East Vic, just in case there was a pass being made, who has now just been released from the box.
And that has been called before Smiling hasn't come through for a scoring pass. But yes.
So let's take a look at East Vic again here. So we've got Netto 9, Tails on 5. We've got Crush on 5, and then April O'Wheel has fouled out from those 7 penalties there. Does look like there is a mixture of a mixed bag. It started with directions and now we've moved to pack related penalties, and that kind of explains a lot when we look at how fast each of these teams are moving.
It is a very fast game. There's a lot going on, very scrummy mixed up packs. Rumour pushes and pushes up the front.
Now keep an eye on the pack here when there's lots of people all moving around in different marks, because this is where they're going to be the most vulnerable for pack-related penalties. Excellent footwork there again on the outside by Rumour.
Beautifully done.
But East Vic aren't prepared for the Ward jammer, and it looks like they just get a free run on that pass. There is a points call being made from the bench for a quick call-off. That is being made. Let's check out Ward's penalties for this half. It does look like Ward have kept it relatively comfortable. So I think the same story kind of tells here. Directions are what we started with. We've now become pack penalties is the common theme. We've got Brawler and Vodka on 4 penalties. They're not in any serious trouble against the 6 minutes remaining in the game.
It is interesting to note that Vodka does have 4 direction penalties as well. I was saying there's a fair few in the first half. It was a very direction penalty heavy first half. And a beautiful quick lead from Tequila Slammer.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those penalties were issued in the first half and then they kind of settle down for this half.
Yeah, this half's been a lot more focused and big pushing from Tequila Slammer, slip up the inside there. His Smiling Assassin really works on the back of the pack, trying to make some headway.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit of assistance there from the East Vic pivot as well, but it seems to still be resulting in some hit-outs being made by Ward and recycling. It's nothing more sad than getting so close to getting out and then having to recycle back 20 feet.
It is the worst. Bit of a mix-up with the call. Tried to call, then get points, and then call again, but 8 points for Ward, bringing them to 308. They have officially hit 300 plus, and East Vic sitting on 46, not having scored any points that last jam.
So it's 2 laps there for Ward. We have 5 minutes remaining in this game, so if there are more apex jumps, they should get them out soon.
Yeah, finish with style.
Oh, and I spoke too soon. There wasn't enough room for Gemini to do an apex jump, so they just did some footwork runs on the line instead. Evie getting hit out there on the outside, having to recycle behind Tiny.
And I did make a note of Tiny is actually on heeled skates. Very, very rare in roller derby, but they're playing fabulously, doing incredible defense and offense for their team there.
There is a power jam now being for Ward. There was a forearm penalty issued to Evie there on the outside before they got hit out. So we do have a power start now for Ward. Does look like we have a foot Pain from Germany, so they have called it off to start the next jam with a power start. Hopefully they're okay and they just got hit funny. We'll just keep an eye on them.
Absolutely. We don't want any injuries here, but skated off okay, so hoping they rest up, as I'd like to have a great game with Ward tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, as you said, Kilbo, Ward have still got a long weekend ahead of them. They've still got a bunch of games tomorrow.
Bunch of games.
We do have a team timeout that has been called. It's probably a good time actually because both teams are getting a little bit tired. We mentioned already that it's getting a bit hot, so we've seen a couple of scrappy hit outs. So it'll be good for everyone to kind of keep to themselves a little bit and contain it and then come back stronger than ever for the last 3.5 minutes of the game.
Absolutely. You do always want to finish really strong and feel really proud of your efforts, and it's just so hard when you get so tired. It does get a bit... You don't want to feel like you're being sloppy, getting tired, but...
Well, you don't really notice, do you? You kind of just... You're just doing the best you can.
Absolutely. Working hard.
So, Kilbo, Scrappy tells me here in the chat that Tiny has a roller dancing background.
Oh, that's really interesting. Well, that explains that, because Tiny has been great to watch all game, and I only noticed the heeled skates at halftime.
Yeah, we were talking about skates. We were talking about low cut versus high cut and preferences and what is ideal for each person. And I kind of said, well, it depends on your ankle strength. Are you really strong in your ankles, or are you nervous about like rolling on the side of them?
So a couple of attempts to hit out the jammer, and Crush is really swept in front to recatch that Ward jammer out the front and get settled back into the tripod together.
Yeah, there was an excellent two-wall catch there at the top. It really slowed down the Ward jammer and actually slowed down the momentum of the pack as well. There's unfortunately a multiplayer block though being issued to Crusher. I think that's their 6th penalty now, so they must be getting close to fouling out.
Luckily we only have the 3 minutes left, so in the unfortunate event they do foul out, there's only a couple of jams.
Yeah, so with that jam, we only ended up going from the start line to turn 2, and I think part of that is because both walls opted to really slow down and contain, and even when they almost popped out, they managed to catch as a 2-wall to slow down those jammers, and that really helped them to keep in control of the pack.
Absolutely. So Screw is up again. I believe that's against Tequila Slammer, who's just made easy work of excellent offense off the line from Ward.
Yeah, Tequila just did the method of skating forwards, and that worked excellently for them.
See, pro tips, if you just listen to Pavey.
Not all the time, please. Oh, and there's our apex jump that we were hoping for. Thank you, Tequila.
Thank you. It's nice to see it spread across the entire jamming lineup for Ward today.
Yeah, they must do some type of apex jammer training, you know, just casual warm-ups for some little jumps on the inside line.
Absolutely. She's just done a little hop again up the inside. Not quite, I won't go a full apex jump, but a lovely piece of footwork.
Does look like I heard a whistle being called. Yes, there is a penalty being issued to a Ward blocker. So there is only 2 Ward blockers on the track right now to East Vic's 4. A whistle has been called. Does that mean we will have an advantage start to East Vic? It does look like that, yes. So we will have 2 blockers for Ward, 4 for East Vic, which is exactly what East Vic needs to try and change the momentum of this game.
Absolutely, and why not finish strong with a couple minutes to go with Evie up against Generica. I'm sorry for my pronunciation again. I will learn the correct way after we finish the game. I'm determined now.
We're new here, Soz.
3.
And that was exactly the momentum shift that East Vic were looking for. Evie sneaking up on that inside line to earn the lead jammer positioning.
Coming through for a scoring pass. The team's setting up. Unfortunately hit out and run back.
Meanwhile, the War Jammer is hustling against the Evie, the East Vic jammer, really getting that drive out to force a no pack to be issued. There's some debate being had about whether they want another jam. It is getting close to the end of the game. There's only 20 seconds remaining for this half. If they want another jam, they are going to have to call it pretty soon. Otherwise, we're just going to ride out this game.
And there's the call.
So they need to call a timeout now if they want to be able to continue the game. If they decide not to do that, then we will just call a natural end of the conclusion. So keep in mind that there's only 30 seconds between lineups. So within that 30 seconds, that call had to be made. It looks like they have opted not to call a timeout. So that will be the end of this game.
And what a wonderful game. So Western Australia unofficial score 337 with the East Vic Witches on 49. We're just waiting on the rolling whistle to confirm those scores as locked in. But teams are running in their huddles, and what a fantastic effort all around. Really, again, go back to that point that one of our commentators said earlier, that it's not always a reflection of the efforts put in both teams, which has worked incredibly hard for their 49 points today. And it was fabulous to watch.
And you might have heard there, that was a great award chant there at the end. It was excellent to see both teams playing around with both the top and the back lines for the rolling whistle, and both teams did quite a few recycles of the jammer, a few hit outs on each of the lanes to do a long recycle, and that's how we kind of saw initially those direction penalties from those big hits turned into those pack penalties. Let's do a quick peek just on what those final pack penalties were. So Brawler did end up with 5. No one else really in much penalty trouble there for Ward. If we check out East Vic here, we did get Natto Ninetails remained at 5, but Crush did end up getting 6, so they did only have 1 penalty remaining before they fouled out. So all in all, yeah, there were some penalties, but it really was telling of the style of gameplay that each team changed.
Well, a fabulous game all around. Stick around for the Chaos Clash happening up next. The wheel is out. The madness is ready to begin. And check in with us tomorrow for more games, more Western Australia. You can watch them take on my lovely team, the Chicos, tomorrow. I believe we're playing at 11 a.m. But otherwise, stick around for the Chaos Clash, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, keep in mind, folks, that the Chaos Clash will be on track 1. And we are in track 2 right now. So you just need to switch streams if you want to be able to watch that one. But otherwise, we hope to see you again tomorrow. Make sure you check out a little bit of the chaos. And until then, you'll hear a lot from me more tomorrow. So take care.